Hey Tarak, thanks for joining and welcome to the In the Line of Fire with Saraj, the CXO and CEO series. I am extremely happy and delighted to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Tarak Sahay, CEO, ZWC. Tarak, who are you?
So mostly my initial career was with the government, and this is where you can say the initial foundation was laid. And after that, I switched over to corporate. I joined Capacity, and from there, actually, this entrepreneur journey I started. So you can say my initial days also, you can say I was in a completely uncomfortable situation. So in the government, I worked for quite long time, and I had a lot of learning over there. And now I am founder and CEO of ZWC, and this corporate world and this entrepreneurship world, two different. Actually, that shift has taken place. So now I am building something very interesting in the sustainability world. So this is how I am a transition from government to corporate and from corporate to entrepreneurship.
Well, I feel that the CEOs and the CXOs are very special people because not everyone dares to be there. And I know you've had a great journey. So during our conversation, we'll talk about something about how you lead yourself and how you lead your team, how you manage work life balance. And in the process, we'll talk about business and organizational capability also. So, first of all, how does your day look like?
My days are very normal. I wake up early in the morning. I go for a walk, and thereafter I do a little bit of meditation kind of thing, and it keeps me charged up for the whole day. 7:30 to 8 a.m. in the morning. I spend time with my family, my two daughters and the wife. We sit together and almost 40 minutes we spend together. We talk on different subjects. And thereafter, I go to office. And when I whole day, we have to take it. And when I come back in the evening, we go and play. And mostly my companions are my children. And late evening, I do something personal. I spend some time on my personal learning and development. Actually, I'm a person who always go for new learning. So I spend some time on myself. And I'm a I go to bed early because I take lunch, dinner early. Normally, I do have a very sound sleep because again tomorrow morning I have to wake up and I start the job. And this is how my entire day looks like. Whenever I do find time, I connect my whole friends. I spend some time on that. This is the routine I follow it very seriously, and it helps and keeps me charged up and energized for the next day.
Well, that is a pattern that I always see coming up and emerging every time I speak to CXOs and CEOs that they are very, very disciplined. The next question I have for you, which I'll fire, is when you were growing, what did you dream of becoming?
One person actually influenced me just like anything. Initial days I'm talking about. He told me one very meaningful thing. So, Tarak, you could have a purpose in your life. Whatever you do, there should be purpose behind that. And that happened because during my entire career, I always look for purpose. I was even in the government job I was there and in the corporate. I always look for purpose. And when I discovered a larger purpose, then I moved on. From there. I could see very clearly the bigger purpose.
So I think you realized that very early what you wanted to do.
Hmm.
So if you have one free day, what is it that you would like to do? You are not a CEO on that day.
See, normally this position, rank, I never care for that, right from the beginning. I'm a very normal person, and you can imagine I was a very senior position in the government, and I had a very powerful position. And in the corporate also, I had an opportunity to handle very bigger roles. But one thing I always never allowed to dominate my mind, rank and position. I always try to lead a very normal life, try to connect with my colleagues, friends, and whenever I do get time, my first priority is to spend time with my children, my family member, and my old friends.
Pressure requires a lot of energy. How do you manage energy?
The biggest mistake what we do, we avoid recognizing that pressure exists in everybody. Without pressure, there is no life. What is the problem? The problem is that how do we manage the pressure? Let me tell you very frankly, pressure is not the enemy.
Do you use a technique to calm
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. How do you react to that? That is the problem. Whenever there is a stressful situation, pressure situation, I always pause. I do not react to that situation immediately. And most of the times, what happens? That pressure doesn't actually, you know what? You can see just from looking at my background. We are trained to handle the pressure situation, stressful
I understand.
situation.
Yes,
Right from my childhood, my life was not very comfortable. And so what happened in the forces services also, we were trained to handle the high pressure, high stakeholder, high stake situations and stressful situations. So pressure, actually what happened under the pressure and stressful situation, what I do, I try to find the solution for that. I do not let the pressure influence me. I try to convert this as an opportunity to do
wow,
something new.
that is fantastic.
And
So, do you want to point out anything that you had to change to become what you are today? One thing that you had to change about yourself to grow as a leader.
see, one thing I would like to, there was earlier realization because there was one mistake I was committing earlier. That was the reacting to the situation. That is one thing I would like to change. And now I have changed a lot after even the fourth phase and all phases. So in early phases of my life, actually, I used to react to the situation.
Coming from forces background, if there is a stimulus, the situation, you have to respond immediately.
Not necessary because that is a mistake normally. You sometimes what happens, situation forces you to react, but this is the where you have to stay calm. You have to see the larger thing happening behind that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that is a fantastic point that you mentioned, that you should not be reacting on a situation. Rather, you should look at the larger picture.
Correct,
That
correct, correct,
that's
correct.
we're getting into the next segment, which is more about care and compassion. How do you stay emotionally balanced during pressure and strike work-life balance?
It starts from recognizing that even your family members and your colleagues or your employees, they have emotions. We have to set highest expectation, but actually you need to create a clarity of thoughts to what you want to do. So clarity, honesty, and respect. These are the three key pillars. Based on that, you can handle multiple things, not only within the family and within the organization.
Any mechanism you use to regulate your emotions? We all have reactions, right?
See what happens whenever this kind of situation. I just keep myself stay away from that situation for a moment. When you have a difficult situation, when you have such a stimuli which is provoking you or instigating you to behave in a certain way, and this is the time you have to cut that situation. You have to pause and you have to rethink and react after some time. And that is the time, most of the societies, what happens? Suddenly, stimuli comes and take the decision. If you just pause for a 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, the
Before you react, hold on. That's
hold
the
on, hold on.
strategy. Yes. So tell me, next question. What are the top three core values that guide your decisions as a leader?
First is the clarity. It's a very important because when you are leading people, your team, they need clarity from here. Uh, Second, you have to lead by example. If you are saying something to even your family member, you are saying something and doing something, so that nobody will accept it. Okay, that is the second part. And third one is transparency. It's very important. What you say, you be transparent and
You are more human centered or process centered?
system driven person.
Oh,
So
system
what
driven.
happens? So what happens? I believe in system because individually you cannot scale up an organization where you have to spend your own time regularly. So what happens? You develop the system. I believe in developing the system. Thereafter, I build capability within our team so that they run the system even without my presence. And
Mhm.
that is how I look at. So clarity of purpose because they need to be clear to what I expect from them. You have to build the system and we have to train them, make them capable of managing that system even I am not there. That is the type of, thing I look at.
How do you balance between the business results and people's well-being?
See, basically, sometimes, this is a misunderstanding. These are two different things. Both are integrated, both are connected. But the most important thing you have to understand, this is the where most of us commit mistake. We ignore people part of it because this is the variable component. If you invest 1 crore, so you will get the desired outcome. If you buy certain machine or process, it will also deliver certain outcome. But this is the variable element. If you take care of this part properly, so your results will be multiplied. So you have to look at, so both are connected things. If you are looking at your people's well-being, you take care of them, you make them competent, you give the clarity of purpose, you and and make them competent enough. People and vision visuals are both are interconnected things. So we try to understand it as a separate entity, but that is not the case. Actually, both are interconnected. If you are taking care of your people properly, you give them proper direction, you make them competent, train them properly, train them for this system and process, you will get the good result.
Do people speak openly in your organization?
Yes, actually, we celebrate failure. And this
Yeah.
is the what happens. We celebrate failure because this is interesting concept is there in business excellence. Opportunity for improvement. Unless you commit mistake, you will not understand, you will not grow. And the same thing is applicable as far as learning is concerned. Most of the times, what happens? We say we know everything. Okay. But what happens in that process? You stop the door of new learnings. Same thing happens here. If you don't commit mistake, you stop the door of. So what happens unless you allow people to commit mistake, allow to fail, there will be no innovation, no improvement. So what happens? One more interesting thing actually I would like to share with you. In our organization, one more thing we do. If anybody finds interesting problem statement, we try to reward that person. Problem identification is also important, and problem and allowing your team to fail is also very important. So these are the two things we celebrate, and these are considered as a positive statement in our.
I know you are into the circular economy, and that's a big buzz all across the world.
Before actually you understand circular economy, you need to understand sustainability. The way we have handled our environment has become a big problem for us, for our own living. You have limited resources and you have to learn how to use those resources without compromising future generation ability to use it. Okay. But what is happening? And circular economy is nothing but the method to, actually method to achieve that goal, sustainability goal. So what happens? You consume less resources today, and whatever resources are there, you have to maximize its reuse.
Give us an
Circular.
example. Give us an.
I just give you one example.
Is it
We all
about? Yeah, go ahead.
so just take the example of water.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Water is one of the natural resources we have exploited it just like it. So now we have to be sustainable as far as water consumption is concerned. We have to see how our cities can be sustainable, water sustainable. We have to see how our industry uh, you know, adopt sustainable practices for water conservation, water use, reuse, and for conservation. So here, how the circular economy model comes. Circular economy says, this model says that you use the water, but try to reuse it again because you don't waste it. What is happening today? So circular economy promotes about not adopting linear economy
So,
model.
like water, what are the other things which should be part of the circular economy? Top five things that should be part of the circular economy. Give me five
Everything,
examples which your
everything.
company deals with.
Everything in our human living or economic activity, we are generating multiple waste streams. What is happening with those waste streams? Those are going to the landfill, okay, and that is creating a lot of problems. In circular economy model, it says whatever waste streams are getting generated, we have to convert into useful raw materials so that it can be used for another economic activity.
So one is the water. Second is what?
All waste material.
The
Just take
electronic. And
electronic waste, all packaging material, plastic,
packaging materials.
anything. You
I'm just
take
trying
any
to
industry,
give the audience
just
a sense
just
of
under, just
their
understand. I
responsibility as a
in the
citizen.
industry wise, I give you example.
Industry West, okay?
Just take the example of steel industry. You have
Yeah.
slags. So slag is the waste stream generated out of steel industry. So now what is happening? Earlier it was happening. Now that is not happening. Now circular economy model has been adopted there. Now slags are being used for road making. Okay.
Oh,
So road making. Now just take the example of plastic. Okay.
I
So this
remember that's what you told me the first time we met about the zero waste.
So,
Zero
so,
waste.
so actually, waste is the outcome of system design. The system
Correct.
waste is nothing but
Right.
the outcome of system design. Okay. So, what is the system design? Existing system design is based on linear model. So, in circular economy model, whatever the waste is waste is what? Actually, it is the outcome of your economic and living activity. Okay. Suppose you are living in a residential society. So, what are the waste streams getting generated? You are generating food waste, you are generating sewer waste, you are generating plastic waste, you are generating sanitary waste.
And no one
Uh,
unfortunately thinks people just
uh,
feel it is a
just
waste and their
yeah.
responsibility is over.
So,
That's not the wise
so,
citizenship.
so, so here, suppose if you want to become sustainable, so you have to look at
When you say
how.
you want to become sustainable, is it about the citizen or is it about a country or an organization?
So when I talk about sustainability, actually this is the based on three parameters, three pillars actually you can say. One is the community, one is the
Yeah,
you can
there
say
we go.
government or local body, city, institution vehicle, and third one is the industry. So all three segments they
They are
are
the key
generating
stake.
their
Yeah,
case.
yeah. They are the generators of waste.
So what happens? You have to understand how to you know recover. This is the where I say waste is nothing but misplaced resource because there are lot of resources are misplaced into that. And this is
Right.
the how the circular economy look at waste. So they see there are some waste, there are some misplaced resources into that, and how to recover those resources out of the waste. Again, convert into raw material to be used for another economic
Is there
activity.
is there a government regulation? Is there a global mandate on this? What is your message to the corporates?
India is aspiring to become net zero economy by 2070. There is a NDC signed now. Every country has signed NDC. So what happened? Every organization now, since India is a signatory of that, so India is aspiring to become net zero economy by 2000. So
What is
all the big,
India is aspiring to be net zero economy. That's a big one you've mentioned. What does that mean to a common man and to the corporates?
see, for the when I say the net zero economy, it means you have to become water neutral. You have to become zero waste to the landfill. No waste stream you are generating should go to the landfill. And you have to reduce the air emission also. So when you add three components and you achieve neutrality over there, then you become the net zero. So every industry has to become net zero. Now they have
Okay.
taken a target by 2040 or 45, they have to become. So every now recently you might be knowing.
Are you in a way, I am sorry to stop you there, are you in a way saying that all companies, all institutions, be it the schools or the colleges or the organizations or the manufacturing, they are all responsible for maintaining net zero waste?
Yeah, see, now there are a lot of regulation now, government regulations are there. This is safe. You have to become not a single kg of waste should go to landfill because there are a lot of regulation now for
Yes.
water, for different wastes, electronic waste, different all the waste stream are generated by industry and actually for a municipal waste, actually they are called the bulk waste generator, non-bulk waste generator. Now the government, through various regulation, enforcing it that no waste system should go to the landfill site, and all the waste system from where actually resources to be recovered and to be reused as long as it is possible. Okay. And this is the government mandate, this is regulatory mandate, And this is the requirement of sustainability, because now we are signing various agreements. Recently, you might be knowing we have signed agreement with European Union and other countries. They have all these requirements. Your industry should not be polluting, because it should not be generating waste. You have to use the water sensibly. Even there are companies and now they are going for not only water neutrality, they are going for water positivity rate. 1x, 2x, 3x, whatever the quantity of water they are consuming, they are saving more than that. So,
Well,
so what is
yeah,
uh, so you have to become sustainable. Your economic activity should not create problem for the environment.
I think people like you and the companies or organizations have a responsibility to create a lot of awareness and education for the corporates. And I think the discussion like this will definitely help. So, how does ZWC come in the picture? What do you do? What are some of your solutions to the corporates?
See, JWC, actually, we are into sustainable solution business. We are providing sustainable solution to industry, cities, urban local bodies, and communities also. So we are providing all three segments.
Tell us briefly about each of this segment.
You take the example of Delhi, that will make you understand things much easier. So, what is the problem? So, the problem is that Delhi is generating 3,700 MLD of sewage waste. You just take
What
the
is
example.
MLD? Just for my audience.
Actually, this is the million liter per day, actually. So, they are generating that wastewater per day. And they have installed capacity of 2,700. So, there is already gap. Okay.
Hmm.
So, now when I talk about sustainable solution, it means the existing assumption is that a centralized system works well. But actually, that is not the sustainable system. When you talk about centralized wastewater processing, you have to transport the waste. Suppose the where actually it is getting generated. From there, you have to
Got
push
in.
all the sewer waste to the centralized location. For that, you
Right.
have to invest in the invest you have to make investment in infrastructure. It consumes a lot of energy, that is not environment friendly approach. So this is
Right.
the where JWC, what we are doing, we have brought in innovative concept of decentralized sewage waste treatment plant, compact system.
Okay.
Okay. So the uniqueness of the solution is that it treats the water whether actually where it is getting generated. That is the
Oh,
point number one. Secondly, it doesn't consume much of energy. That is a nature-based solid. So what happens here? You are generating wastewater. I am helping industry, local bodies to reclaim the water at the point of generation only and reuse it for different other purpose. So what will happen? It will reduce the demand for fresh water. So this is
oh.
the how you will conserve the water.
Now I understand as a layman. So if you are wasting water, it is not going long way from here.
You
You are
are
recycling. You are
reclaiming the
reclaiming.
water,
That's a better
the
term.
water
Right
at the
there.
point right there and reusing at that location only for different purpose. Okay,
Mhm.
for
What about the human waste?
uh, that is the another beauty. Actually, what happens? Human waste actually another problem in centralized system. Again you have to manage the sludge. In our solution, you don't need to manage the sludge. It gets converted into compost.
And you have a
And
solution.
that compost.
And you have a
So
product.
So what
And you
happens
are
that,
running it.
yeah, already multiple projects we have implemented. So what happens here? You are removing the requirement of managing the sludge. You are not managing sludge. So at the point of generation, what is actually we have system through which actually it get converted into compost. After 2 3 years, you remove those compost using the grain belt. So there is no waste you have to manage. And water you are reclaiming. So what happens? It is a completely zero waste solution. Okay, no waste is going from there. So water you are reclaiming and sludge also you are composting. So what happens? Water you are reusing for various purpose, for gardening, reflushing the toilet. A lot of water gets consumed, even pollution, dust control, you can use that water. So there are a lot of applications.
Yeah. So one question related to that. I know you have traveled extensively with government bodies and in individual capacity as well. You have been to the Middle East, you have been to Africa, and you've been to the Asia Pacific on a lot of tours. How do you see the other parts of the world things are happening vis-a-vis us?
See, in European countries, actually now they have very strict compliance. model. So they have done a lot of innovation into that. I just in Asia, you can take the example of Japan. Recently, I was in Japan. I was surprised to see I was not able to see when a single kg of waste lying anywhere.
So you are saying there are countries that are already on zero waste.
They have adopted this system. They are
Right.
looking for it. Even just take the example of Belgium. Actually, they have the first circular city in existence.
So many
Amsterdam is
new
the first.
terms are coming, right?
Amsterdam is the first circular city in the world. So what I say, make your city sustainable, make your business sustainable, make community living sustainable. And for that, actually, we are bringing multiple solutions through which you can make your economic or living activity sustainable as far as possible.
I know. So you have a purpose and you have a mission. And I know that is why you are there. And very soon, I think the circular economy, net zero, these things will be a buzzword all across, and every citizen will have to understand. We will now come back to the business mastery from understanding what you actually do is what helps you make clear decisions in uncertain times. And we see that very how.
See, first of all, actually, as I shared initially with you, all I do not believe in a very comfortable situation, and I have mentally trained myself. Okay, I have to, even if in a difficult situation I am, that situation I have to treat as an opportunity, to find something new. So what happens over the period of time, whenever I face any difficult situation, I take it, this is just an opportunity situation for me, and from where I can get some solution. Unless you have problem, you will not try for solution. So that's why this is the approach I have developed. If you are in a problem, it means you have an opportunity to find solution. And this approach always helped me. And today, because this is the true in our country, India. That's why we call it when you go outside, they see lot of potential in India. Why? Because this is the laboratory where you have multiple problems. But when you find the solution, that is the scalable, solution. You can take it to anywhere in the world. Problem is not the negative statement for me. Problem is a positive statement for me, and from where actually I always try to find solution, and that solution helps me to address those problems and finally build business around it.
So, how do you define success for a CEO?
See, success for that actually you need to define the purpose of your life, the purpose of your business. And if you are able to achieve that, if that purpose you are able to achieve that, I do not see or connect myself success with the revenue and other things. All these things are collateral, thing to that we will get it.
So,
Once
what is
you
your vision?
start, my vision right now is how can I contribute? How my this company can become the leading player who can provide sustainable solution to industry, and so that even if I'm able to, provide even on the wastewater also, actually I see very few cities, if I am able to convert into circular cities, that will be great achievement for me at the personal level also. And this is the task I have taken. Continuously, I go create awareness. And second thing is, purpose I have taken in my life. I have to make 1 crore students to become zero waste city.
What is that? What is zero waste citizen? You want to highlight that quickly?
This is the model I have started in Delhi, and this is the biggest purpose I have taken in my life. How you see what happens when if you want India to become developed economy, if you want India to become net zero, so that goal we are trying to achieve by 2070, 2045, that kind of thing. So who will drive those things? This new generation, which are in schools, we will not be there by that time. So this is the one of the purposes I have taken in my life. How to how to inculcate those habits. When you go to Japan, entire country looks for sustainability. Their children, their entire they are thinking like that. How can we have everything in our country? Only thing is this: you have to train this new generation. You have to enable this generation so that they adopt sustainable life. Because ultimately, coming generation they should also feel comfortable. They should be able to the life.
Do you have a workable model
Already
on
model is
citizenship
running.
program?
already this model is running. Actually, this
Give us a
actually,
brief example. Let's say you're talking to a student in class 10. What is your message to me?
see, uh, when we talk to students in the school, we tell them two, three things very clearly. See, not only students, even we talk to teachers. You are roaming around the cities and you are seeing lot of waste material on the streets. This is not good.
And who is doing that? All of us.
But
Yes.
what is the remedy? So you need to see plantation. Another part is even our honorable prime minister. He says, "Ek ped maa ke naam." That is the
Message.
everything is around sustainability because how to make your life sustainable, how to make your living sustainable, your economic activity sustainable. And this is the primary. This is a very important thing. Nobody teaches you in this one.
So, what is the model? How does it work for the school students?
So model is very simple. We have open one just like a bank account. You open your bank account. So similarly, we have a zero waste citizen bank. We open a branch in a school. Okay, and thereafter, actually, we encourage every student to open their bank account in that
Mhm.
ZWC bank. So now you will be thinking about that what that bank account does. So what happens now? We encourage every student to contribute towards sustainability or environment. How?
I
you
got
bring
it.
plastic you bring plastic and deposit it. So what is
I
the
get it.
problem today? What happens? I just ask you one question: how many trees you have planted in your life?
True.
So whatever contribution you have done today, that is very important. You are not able to measure your contribution. You are not able to measure the impact of your contribution. So
Mhm.
this is the where JWC Bank works, where you can measure how much plastic you have deposited, which were sent for recycling,
That is fantastic. I get that.
how many trees you have planted, okay, whether those trees survived or not,
That is
and
fantastic.
how much carbon emission it has reduced. So all this measurable impact you can track through your JWC
So
bank
we are
contribution.
feeding in right in the minds of the youngsters at the school level, understanding what is zero waste citizenship, and they started contributing to that whole concept and they started feeling responsible. I think
Means
that's a very
what
powerful
happens?
idea.
You catch them early. If you catch them early, you train them early, you enable them early. So only then you can see a sustainable future for all of us.
That is
New generation.
fantastic. So we will come back to the organizational mastery. What does long term responsibility mean to you as a leader?
For me, long term, when I
Responsibility, long term responsibility mean to you as a leader?
long term responsibility for me, you can say as a leader, is to you have to build up an organization or build up a society which becomes sustainable.
That is
Okay,
fantastic.
you're creating a sustainable society or sustainable community around you, and for that, actually, you have to design sustainable solution based on circular economy model and business around that. But parallelly, what I see, you have to hold the present also. Short term must be you must work on the short term so that it remains aligned with your long term vision. So if you want to achieve the long term vision, you have to work on the short term things also. How can I contribute through my innovative solution?
Yeah.
I did JWTL assessment for Tata Power.
Mhm.
So that was the message. How you look at the waste stream? How can you make it more sustainable? How can you monetize all those waste streams? And this
That is
is the how I
fantastic.
look. Yeah.
Mhm. So we are now getting into the next segment, and here I will give you a sentence, and you have to fill in the blanks. If I could give everyone one leadership skill, if you could give one leadership skill, it would be
Lead by example.
that is very profound. Most underrated leadership is skill today is
See, most underrated leadership today is that you do not motivate your, juniors to drive them towards the goal organization and so that is the most
the
under
power of
power
motivation, the power of
motivation. That is
connect, the power of
power of
relationship,
connect,
the
power of
power of
relationship.
trust,
Yeah.
and
Trust.
how as
These
a
are the
leader
things.
you unleash that. True. Yeah.
Unless, yeah. Unless you do that, you cannot achieve the goal of your organization.
Fantastic. We're getting into the next one. This is kind of a rapid fire, but more of a true and false. Leaders must always have the final answer.
No, no, that is final answer is there. You can say
True or
yes,
false?
but uh, you must be having a final answer, but based on the inputs from all corners.
Okay. Work life balance is a myth for leader. True or false?
So it is false because you can manage it.
You can manage it. That's fine. Leadership styles must change every decade. True or false?
Maybe too, because every time you have to review your own way of handling things. You have to find way to correct it. So many a times leadership itself cannot be constant. You have to change over the period of time,
Okay, we are getting
depending
into
upon
the
the
next
situation.
next segment, and this is rapid fire. We'll just ask few questions. Data or intuition?
For me, data is very important because once you have data, that sets the direction, and thereafter you take everybody along with that.
Yeah. So one more: courage versus comfort.
Courage is very important.
Yeah. Execution versus vision. You have to select one.
See, because without execution, you cannot achieve the goal of vision. You cannot achieve the vision. Execution is very important because unless you execute, your vision cannot be realized.
True. Okay. What is one thing you wish leaders should unlearn?
He should not consider that he knows everything.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And you said it. In fact, my last podcast was around I know everything syndrome, where I was very heavy on that doesn't work. You should have a learning style rather than the experience based leadership. Last question. In one sentence, future leadership is about.
Future leadership is about how fast he changes with the changing environment technology. Okay. He will not be able to lead business or his team with the existing leadership. He has to change. Has to be flexible to change. Only then they can lead the future business.
Change is the key. So, thank you so much for sharing your vision. Your insights will definitely guide leaders.